Welcome to HearthBreakers with your hosts Monk Business, Dorothor, Iron Shaft, and Hirudra. Well, hello guys, and welcome to the 9th installment of HearthBreakers. What is this? A new podcast? After 7 months, it's finally here, and it's here to say. If you guys watched the announcement video, we changed our team name to Rise of Aesir, and we got a new beginning. As you can see, we got a new guy. We'll get to him in a minute. So we are currently only 4 of us is gonna be in this episode, and as you can see, there is the guy not on the couch over there, also known as Dorothor. You have seen him before. Me, Monk Business. You have also seen me before. You have seen this lovely guy, Hirudra, but a new face, Iron Shaft.
Hello guys, I'm Andreas. I'm the new guy, apparently. I've been playing with these guys for 2 months, I think now, and it's been pretty good. A bit about me. I haven't played a lot competitive esports. This is my first actual game. I've been in behind the scenes, you can say. I've been casting League of Legends, but have been playing Hearthstone since beta, like all the other guys here, and started playing really competitive for 2 months ago, I think. Yeah,
and we finally got a actual media guy now. So if you watch the intro, it's fancy. It's by this man over here. So I hope you guys love that as well. So yeah, that's a little intro, and we'll get right onto the point, or into the point, or whatever that is. Blizzcon. It was just there, and stuff happened.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of new cards got announced. Yes, a lot of new cards got announced, and we're gonna start going through those cards and analyzing some of those. Yeah. We're gonna start off with the 9 smallest minions, but that'll be in a moment because something else happened at Blizzcon. What was that?
Well, they were playing a World Tournament Cup, which was quite interesting. There were a lot of interesting decks, and eventually Firebat ended up running with the title and $100,000. So very much congratulations to him.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, really.
You are now the champ.
It was pretty weird because it was kind of anticlimactic for the finals. It was fairly quick. Yeah. But in general, the tournament was really great. Like the warm-up week we saw where the last guy qualified.
And all the group stages.
Yeah, that was really nice to see. Not only on one weekend, but like over like a course of 1 or 2 months almost.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. But the finals,
Yeah, 3-0.
Yeah, and really drew it as well. That was
surprising.
It's kind of weird.
But I think the most exciting thing about Firebat is actually his choice of decks for the entire tournament. Because it seems like he actually predicted there would be a lot of warrior and priest, and thus chose to bring like basically 4 classes who were pretty good against both warrior and priest. Like Druid and Rogue are generally pretty good against them, especially if you run like close to those versions, because they have a lot of mid-range creatures that are usually hard for them to deal with. So yeah, pretty good call, I'd say. Yeah, and probably used when he was in a hunter matchup, he either used the mirror or the handlock. Yeah, pretty good with those two.
Yeah.
So, I guess he predicted something and it worked.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do in a tournament like this. Very high scale, a lot on the line. So yeah.
Was it the right guy who won?
That will always be discussed. I think in a game where random factor is a thing, you can always argue that maybe someone else should have won, but the fact is that Firebat did win, so I think that's like the facts that we have to stick with.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just say I had a different favorite.
Yeah, I think we all had different favorites, but in the end, Firebat ended up running with it. So
yeah, the fact that it was a long tournament, there was really a lot of games from the day when they had to just qualify and go through the stages and everything. So he won consistently, and that's mainly why you got the victory.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the thing I disliked the most, I think about the tournament was the format and the final. It was just like
that probably should have been best of 7.
Yeah, something.
But
even best of 7 or something.
Yeah,
maybe
but
that could have been, because then if it had been like 4-0 instead, it wouldn't have been even like better at all. It's still just have been anticlimactic. So
no, but I mean, like at least there would have been a chance for maybe they would have used a different strategy. Like a best of 7 is usually quite a bit different than a best of 5. So I don't know.
I guess.
But it's really hard for the general stamina for the players if it's like 3-3 and all the games are control and you're going to fatigue in all your games and stuff. It's gonna be like 3 or 4 hours in a row they have to sit and play. So
it's mentally stressing to just play and keep playing.
Yeah, but the fact that the format is the same as the quarterfinal and the semi-final.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like, if it's just like some kind of different thing, then it would have given like a bit more hype to it or something. But it's just the fact that it's the same just makes it kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
But well, that's what happened, and we are gonna move right along into the next stuff. It will appear in a moment. Yeah, there we go. So new cards were announced, and we are gonna start off with just getting the basics, like getting those out of the way, because the next card is gonna be relevant compared to these guys. So these guys are spare parts, and it's a bunch of spells that you can get from some of the new cards, all being kind of like banana. A weak 1 mana drop, but since you get it for free from something else, it is worth it for the most part. So it's pretty basic stuff. From the top, we have Whirling Blades, 1 attack, Armor Plating, 1 health, Rusty Horn is giving taunt, Emergency Coolant is freeze a minion, then we have a Stealth Giving spell, and an effect of, what is it called, that 2/2 that swaps stuff. Chris Alchemist effect on a spell.
Swap.
Swap the attack and health.
Yeah.
And then a sap. No, for friends.
Shadow Step.
Yeah, Shadow Step without the -2 thing and costing 1 mana more. So they're all weak, but you get them free. And one of the cards, I don't know.
I think from most of the cards you get one random, and I feel like there is a huge difference between getting some of them. I think the 2 most noteworthy is the one swapping and the one giving stealth, because those can really be game changing. Maybe even the one that bounces something to your own hand can be really good. Yeah. But
especially because a lot of the mech seems to have some kind of battle cry. So the bouncing back, just playing it again, seems really just gonna have some kind of impact.
But I think I agree with Christopher that the stealth one is probably the strongest one, because you can just make whatever it is. If it's a 7/7, you make it immune for a turn, and then you're guaranteed 7 damage, where the other cards doesn't scale like that. It's always 1 attack.
But the fact that they are it's random which one you get makes them like I don't know, balanced, I guess.
No, it's like, it seems like Blizzard's way of adding neutral spells without actually adding neutral spells.
Through minions.
Because so far all of the spare part givers have been I think neutral minions. So
So
and also just to get a different point of view, Trump valued the cards like in general. He valued them at like between 1/3 and half of a card each.
I guess.
So definitely not something game breaking. Like you get this specific RNG. Even though that's the theme, you don't have one specific card in these 7.
And this is actually the best kind of RNG in my opinion. Because you get something that you can plan ahead for later. So you can plan around the RNG, and that's the RNG that increases skill, where the one that are just completely random that you cannot control is the one that I think decreases skill. So
One thing as well is that there's nothing here that scales on spell power, so
Yeah.
you can't really plan that into it. So it's buff +1 or
Yeah, that's
-1
actually
or stuff
interesting.
like that. So
They didn't do any deal 1 damage or something.
yeah, exactly, because then it
Yeah.
would actually have some kind of impact if you're playing a specific deck. But,
True.
but all these can work in some kind of way.
Yeah.
In your
So how do you get these cards? By this guy, Clockwork Gnome. He's a 2/1 for 1. He has the mech tribal, and his effect is Death Rattle. Put 1 spare part in your hand, and the spare parts were the ones we just saw.
Yeah.
So any specific thoughts right off the bat?
Sue and Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to say because, like, we can discuss most of the cards where we just add this 1 card to the current
Yeah,
meta,
of course.
but it's really hard discussing it because we don't know how the meta will evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good disclaimer to get out of off our shoulders right away. We only know 30 of the new cards,
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
true.
going to be 120.
Mm.
So everything we say might be totally wrong because the meta will change depending on these other 90 cards
Yeah.
that will be released.
But still, I think you can like this card is like you can compare it really well to Leper Gnome, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And unless your deck is really focused on pushing damage, this will be better.
Yeah, because this pushes your advantage.
Yeah, it like you can say it pushes your board control, kinda.
Yeah.
You can also argue that it's very much like a synergy card because, first of all, it's a mech.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
True.
true.
And based on what we've heard so far, about 1/3 of the cards from the new set are going to be mech, like mech type,
Yeah.
and a few of the old ones are going to be changed as well. And many of the mechs so far have an effect where they actually like get something out of having another mech on the field.
Yeah,
So it's
true.
like an easy other mech you can put on the field for like 1 mana and it gives you like a card as well. Well,
Yeah.
not a card, but
Yeah, half a card.
Half a
yeah,
card, yeah.
exactly.
And also, it's worth mentioning you don't have to swap this out for Leper Gnome in current decks. You can play it alongside,
Yeah.
making Undertaker even more consistent with the coin.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, let's move on to the next 1-drop.
Let's
Cock
take that.
Master. So this is a 1/2. It is not a mech, but it has a continuous effect, so it's not a trigger. It will disappear exactly when its conditions are not met, and it will appear right away. There's no trigger here. So it has 2 attack while you have the mech.
It's worse than Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a way worse Undertaker. But Undertaker is broken, so
Yeah, I guess.
It's something that has to be in a specific deck, like compared to a deck with Murlocs. I know it's not in flavor right now,
Yeah.
but it has to be in a specific set of deck. It's not like a card you're gonna see played all around
true.
the new decks, because it really has to have a focus around the mech synergy. So I guess it's a good early drop with the mechs, and it's something that can make you snowball if you have other good cards you can play in the early game.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it's not a great card because it's so specific that you need to have another mech. And you play only mechs after this card. You don't want to play like it's just gonna be a regular
that's
2-drop if you have one on the mech.
Yeah, I can see it doing well if you have a few 2-drops and like you play a deck with mechs that kind of curves, because then you can have this card out and clear whatever. Like it's a 1-drop. If you have a if you drop a mech beside it, it basically becomes the value of a 2-drop, which is good. But
It's definitely something that can make you snowball.
But I actually think it's weak because your opponent, it allows your opponent to play around it. Most of the time, he can just destroy your other mech first and then kill this guy without much hassle. You really need it in the early hand. It's like a fire imp, a flame imp. It's like flame imp with a condition, but not dealing free damage.
Yeah, that's true.
And
So
this is a worse condition in my opinion.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier to take 3 damage in the early game than have to get another mech on the board.
Yeah, of course. And also the fact that it is mech makes it non-abusable.
Yeah, that's
so like if you sit with 2 of these guys, it's like whoa,
They're both
they're so
one, two.
so bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah,
like opens up for possible like aggro, zoo, mech type decks in the
Yeah,
future.
it does definitely.
It's true.
Like warlock mech, depending on like what other cards are. Like there's already another 1-drop of.
Yeah, and the
mech
2-drop that
heroes, yeah.
reduces costs as well, right?
Exactly. So like there are possibilities.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
But
So-
I guess we'll get to those cards.
Yeah, moving along right away to Neutron. So it's a 2/1/2 mech with Taunt and Divine Shield.
It's ridiculous.
It's
Awful.
ridiculously bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So for the price of 2 mana, you get 2. What is it called?
Gosha Footman.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doubling up the shit with the Divine Shield. But yeah, the stats are just horrible. You don't need a 1 damage on a 2-drop.
Yeah.
The 2/2, it would be okay.
If it was 2/2, it would be better
Okay.
than Frostwolf Grunt,
Yeah.
like by a mile.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do that. I think the one merit this guy has is the overkill factor. It's the same problem, or it's the same reason Sludge Belcher is so strong. Because the 1/2 you get out, your opponent usually has to overkill it, so you don't receive that damage. And this guy has the same kind of condition. Your opponent is not going to use the silence on this guy, and he will then have to like deal at least 1 damage to it and then kill it. So it might actually be more annoying than anything, and therefore the name. I think the name is like it's
fitting.
definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
People are gonna be frustrated having to deal with this guy.
The taunt really makes it because you have to do that.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
overkill,
Yeah.
and it's a cheap slot spell, and sometimes you just play the slot spells just to know you can buy times for 2 turns,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
or 1 turn extra. So yeah, I guess, but having it as a 2-drop to do just that specific thing is really specific.
Yeah, it's really bad at the 2-drop level.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those early drops that can be better late than other cards. But you usually, if you have a 2-drop, you also want it to be good in turn 2, and this guy doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, like it's the positive thing it has going for it is that it's like a sticky mech basically.
yeah, true.
So like it's a cheap sticky mech that you can throw down late game and push for damage or something. So yeah.
Yeah.
But generally, we don't like it.
I think depending on how many mechs will arrive in this set, the Zoo early variant, if there's not enough to fill the gap of early stuff, you might play this, because if you can get this out for like 1 mana or 0 mana with some of the other cards, it's okay. But you might run out of steam, so I don't know.
Based on what we know now, I'd say it's below average.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But the next card is not below average. Dorothy, do you have any initial thoughts?
This card is insane.
It's insane!
Needed to have exactly 2 of these cards and play his entire hand. No, but seriously, like, wow, this card is gonna be so good in mech decks. Like, any deck that runs any kind of mech is gonna run 2 of this card.
Yeah.
First of all, I think it has the perfect stats that you would want, because I think you'd on these kind of cards that you want to survive, you'd rather have the 3 health than the
definitely
the 3 attack.
Yeah.
And overall, like, it's a 2-drop, so you can curve it into your late game drops and make it really, really insane. Like, throw them down for less mana, and if like just the fact that it combos with itself, I think, is quite insane.
Yeah, it's sick.
Like,
you play one on turn 2 or turn 3. You play one, play the other, then you play like.
And then you play 3 2-drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like like you said, there's no limit, like lower limit.
Arena with this guy.
So it's just arena.
Arena's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, it's really strong, and just it's a tribal with a strong effect.
Yeah.
Like if you compare it to all the other cards in the game right now, usually when you get tribal, you lose the strong effect. For example, the Crocolisk, it's a 2/3 without effect because it's a beast. And this guy is a 2/3 who's also a mech, who also has the like
really good effect.
really strong effect. Yeah.
I would even consider playing this if it was a 2/2.
Yeah.
2-1
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know, but
Definitely.
the fact that it has the vanilla stats on par with other drops in the
Yeah.
same mana, it's just godlike.
Just imagine if Murlocs had this card.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh no, thank you.
Everything for free.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh wait, this what? Well, this single.
This is good. Over average.
Yeah, way
Above.
way above average.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to the next guy. Micro Machine. It's a car.
I'm just
Why is it not a car? Why is it not a car?
Because
Oh,
copyright,
that's-
yo.
What?
Buy
Well-
some artwork from the Micro Machines departments. in the old
Copyright
games.
infringement all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, it is 2-drop. There's a lot of early drops for mech. 1/2 at the start of each turn, gain +1 attack, and by each turn it means both players' turn.
Yeah.
So it's never gonna be a 1/2. It's always gonna be 2/2 unless you give
Yeah.
it charge.
Yeah. I guess.
So any thoughts?
Honestly, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's on the weak side, and for 2-drops, you often want something that affects your gameplay right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have to stack it up, it would take some time. Plus, it had only 2 health, so it's really easy to get rid of in most situations. So I'm thinking it's on the downside. But again, you have some low taunts. You can cover it for some time maybe, and you'll actually have a good minion. But yeah,
I'm just I'm sitting here imagining the mech warper, and then you play like 2 Annoyatrons, 2 Micro Machines. It's like I have to get through 4 taunts, and this guy is just sitting here. Then it's a 3 attack, then it's a 5 attack, then it's a 7 attack.
yeah.
You die in 3 turns or something. But that's the dream, of course. So
That's the dream.
I think most of the time, if your opponent has a immediate response, the 2/2 without an effect is just really bad. If you get your turn, it's a 3/2 without an effect, then it's a Bloodframe Raptor. That's not really what you want. But anything after that, like if you get your turn back, your opponent has to deal with a 4/2.
Yeah.
So at that point, it might be okay. And I think I have the same argument for this guy as for Annoyatron. It really depends on how many mechs are available. Since you want the tribal, but you want, of course, the best effects together with the tribal. So,
I think, like, this card seems very much like a card you would put in your deck just to get extra mechs for some kind of synergy.
Yeah.
Or like if you draft mechs in Arena, you would maybe pick this card over some other 2-drops.
Well, I
just
think
to have like effect.
Yeah, in Arena, I think it might actually.
Yeah, I think so, because it often goes like if you can drop it, if you can say you have coin, and then you can just sit with your other minions and trade and keep it alive because.
But on the other side,
trade city.
in Arena, you want to trade to gain board control.
That's true as well.
And this guy is not going to trade very well. It's going to die to everything.
You don't want to trade with it. You just
So
want
it's
to
It
just
trade
a
with
face
feels like
guy.
kind of a vanilla 2-drop mech.
Yeah.
sort of card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's vanilla mech is probably the best.
What we maybe have to compare it to is the shade. But so you gain more attack if you can get over like 2 or 3 turns. So you can get more damage off of it. But the thing is, it's not stacking health. It's just not gaining the same value as a.
This
shade
guy
is.
and Shade actually plays very differently. Because this guy is never gonna trade and survive. He's just gonna push damage and he's gonna attack right away. With Shade, you put him and then you just let him sit until you can trade or make some crazy shit.
Yeah, sure.
So, that's Micro Machine, not a car. Next guy is Explosive Sheep. And the artwork is awesome for this guy. It's another 2 mana drop mech. It's a 1/1 and it has Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to all minions.
it's so bad in my opinion.
You think it's bad?
Yeah, I do. Well, if you want this as an early drop and you want it to synergize with the other mechs, it's not gonna fit in your deck because that deck is it destroys all your minions.
Yeah, I agree.
So on that front, it's really retarded. In a control deck,
control mech.
Maybe that's gonna be a thing. I don't know, but But no, the fact that it's a death rattle makes it just a really slow clear. So I think if you want to play this way, you're oftentimes going to be very greedy and it's going to miss out on an opportunity. So Yeah, I guess it's in many times like an explosive trap, but not on the level at all.
Combos with the map bomber for a 4 mana 2 damage AoE.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're definitely gonna see some ridiculous
Or
plays.
Elven Archer.
Well,
Legit as well.
the thing is that this is like another card that just to me screams neutral spell. Like how to make a neutral spell that's not a spell but a minion.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna play like a spell most of the time.
Well, the
because it
thing
has
is,
to
you
die.
can like if you like play mage, you can play it and ping it, and you have a 2 damage AoE. Like, 2
that's
damage is
true.
pretty good.
Maybe.
Yeah,
for
true.
4
In
mana.
mage is actually.
2 damage
It's
is like
it's
perfect-
bad, but it's a
perfect
thing. Yeah.
I think this card might actually be better than we give it credit for. It's not gonna go into an early mech deck.
No.
It's not gonna go into any early decks. It might
It's
like
a
this
doom
card
set.
in for example
Freeze
warrior
Mage?
just clears double of what ghoul clears, and most of your guys is still gonna survive. The 2 damage might be too much for your own guys to handle.
Or
Yeah.
it can give you like cards with the Acculated Pain,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
give you armor with Armor Smith.
So, it doesn't have. Yeah,
I think it's just like in Warrior, it's just the worst version.
yeah,
of
it
Ghoul.
might be true.
Yeah. There's some dreams to be had, but yeah, like the Blood Mage Falnus and a Mage, throw this out afterwards, ping it, 3 damage AoE and a card draw, and a cycle.
Yeah, I guess that's 3. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Moving
Dora,
on.
no thoughts?
He had a lot of thoughts. It was a spell, right?
Oh yeah, okay. You're allowed to.
So, a very interesting card. Nutmeg is a 2-drop 3/2 Recombobulator.
Oh god.
Recombobulator. He has a battle cry. Transform a friendly minion into a random minion with the same cost.
It's broken.
You think it's broken? I think it's
I
good.
think it's really, really good.
I think it's okay, but not like too insane.
Okay, it's not knife juggler. Well, it's not knife juggler in the way that it shoots arrows, right? But it's a 3/2 2-drop with a really, really good effect. I think the effect is really good, and it can make. It might not have an appearance in all decks, but it has. Like the obvious thing is like if you trade something, you can recompilate it into something with full health. But in some decks, it has really good synergy with some of the cards. Most notably, I think, is the Shadow Madness. You can take something, trade with it, and then recompilate it. And I believe you get to keep the card you recompilate into.
You should.
Yeah, I think so. And that is, that's really ridiculous.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
like off the bat. I think it would be like a good card in Zoo. Imagine using the effect.
How
on
much
a
does the
1/1
spider
token
cost?
2.
That's like 1 mana, and then you get like some 1-drop, like an Undertaker.
3.
Yeah.
Which spider?
I was just thinking the spawned spider from what is it
Oh,
called?
it's 2 mana.
Yeah, the initial one, but the ones
The
they
the
spawn,
Rubian spider.
Yeah,
They are
exactly.
one-
Like they're 1 mana. Right?
1 mana.
they're 1 mana because
Okay.
then like a 1 mana is always going to be better than a 1/1. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
true.
That's what I meant with like in Zoo.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Maybe, but I think like, if you want all of this stuff, Zoo is gonna be stupidly tight. I don't know. Maybe.
It's going to be tight, but yeah, it's correct that Sue wants to trade, and then you can like refresh the health.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's on curve with the stats.
You try to refresh the health, and you also it was a 2-drop, and you summoned a
Explosive cube.
yeah, maybe. Or
Doom God.
Doomsayer.
yeah.
Doomsayer.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
just thinking about it. That would be so horrible. Like, just sit there.
Insta loss.
It's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen
It
in
is
some
gonna
kind of
happen.
tournament.
It's gonna be a click.
Some guy on Reddit made a thread where he went through all the existing cards and thought about the value for the different manas. I think he came to the conclusion that 7 mana really sucks because you're gonna get a lot of 5/5s without effects, like in Druid, or you're gonna get like a War Golem or some shit.
Yeah.
Where 8, 9, and 10 is only gonna give you good stuff,
Yeah.
like Ragnaros. Like you attack with something, recombulate, get Ragnaros, and fire something in the end phase.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strong plays to be had.
Even on.
Can you just get legendaries for the
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can get
believe so.
everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can get any minion.
It's
like-
not from a deck,
Fast
it's from
cards.
everywhere.
The
From
one with
Limbo.
Mega Ven Fury, just get that charge
Yeah,
and shit.
Oh,
I
I
think-
believe you.
I'm not sure because Ben Broad mentioned that these cards, also some cards we'll see later,
Mm.
can only summon cards you can have potentially in your collection.
Okay.
So they cannot summon stuff from outside. They cannot
Oh.
summon like the 1/1 spiders, for example.
Oh.
Or they cannot
Oh.
they cannot summon the Voltron either.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Something that's craftable.
yeah,
Basically,
exactly.
yeah.
Something scrappable. Yeah.
All right.
One thing that's very notable is that like you can do it on the giants as well, which are 12 and 20 drops.
Oh.
To like that's basically just a
You're
heal.
sure? Yeah, and you're sure you get the same minion? Yeah.
Yeah, but you will get an 8/8
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
actually true.
on 10 mana for the Sea Giant, you will get either Sea Giant or
That's-
Deathwing.
Deathwing. Yeah. On
Oh,
12
that's actually
12.
really interesting because then you will always upgrade it. Like the
it's-
average will be 10/10.
Yeah, the average will be 10/10.
But again, would you put this in a deck where you have a lot of high cost minions or a lot of low cost
Yeah,
minions?
that's the thing.
Because it's either or, I think.
You
I can see it in a see
Yeah.
it in a control deck as well, but it really has to be something specific where you're sure you're gonna get it. Like a handlock maybe.
maybe.
Shaman aggro with Sea Giant.
Yeah.
I could see it
Yeah, maybe.
probably. Maybe.
Yeah, it's weird to predict because it just has so many
Yeah,
options, but
really,
you actually
yeah.
don't know how it's gonna play out. It
Mm.
might just be sitting in your hand. You always wish you could play it, but you want to play something else to keep
Mm.
momentum or something.
Yeah.
Because this guy is just a free. It doesn't really give momentum
Yeah.
in that way. It just makes you make
Mm.
fancy plays. Of course, if you get a Ragnaros and shoot something for free, it's
Pretty good.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of momentum. So,
Yeah.
but it's hard to predict, and I think often you don't want to make plays that you cannot predict
Yeah, that's
unless you're in like a tight situation.
Yeah.
So
Right.
The next card is like a random effect that you actually have a pretty good chance at predicting.
yeah,
Right.
it's one of those good random effects.
Yeah, I really like this card. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy.
Smash.
It's
Yeah.
often good early game because you can play it early with the 2 mana, and often there's not more than 1 or 2 minions, so you can really control the effect. And yeah, just generally when you want to trade off the entire board with your own minions, you can just put in the first 4 damage and just see from there how you're gonna
Yeah,
trade
true.
it out. So I actually like this card a lot.
Mm.
The fact that it's mage is
Because Mage already has
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the strongest spells in the game.
yeah.
So the thing about this card, I'm not really sure if I like it or not, because you already have a free damage spell that also freezes, so you can
Yeah.
ping it the next turn or whatever.
Yeah,
And
So-
can't hit face.
Yeah, exactly. So like you can finish with the
Frostbolt,
frostbolt.
And
So-
has synergy with General Frost with Iceland and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So flame cannon is gonna go into a different deck, but
Mm.
I think this card serves a very specific purpose, and it's
Gacha-san.
killing Gacha-san. Because you cannot target Gacha-san, but these random AoE kind of effects,
Yeah, that's true.
they can target Gacha-san.
Yeah. Just
And I
like a
think-
deadly shot or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think this is a straight up counter to that guy,
Mm.
but I'm not sure if you want to run it
With
just
that
for
sole
that.
purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you can also use it like differently. Like
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
At worst, it's gonna kill like a 2 or 3 drop. Like that's pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah,
Mm.
true. So it might actually be really good in like a momentum mage or something, where you have a 2/2 that summons traps or whatever, and then you just summon a minion, kill whatever, because this guy this spell kills above its own cost.
Yeah, it does.
So
But yeah, I think you're correcting that comparing this to Frostball on some level because it holds that spot
yeah,
Mhm.
and gonna hold 4 spells on 2 mana curve.
Yeah.
That's really something people have to consider when they're playing a mage deck. So it's gonna be very specific, and I think more often than not in the regular decks we see in the meta now, you don't want to choose this card over a Frostball.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would play it over Frostbolt.
No.
I can see certain situations where it's better, but I think the random factor and the fact that it can't be shot directly
Yeah.
kills it.
yeah, it's a little bit the same argument that I had with the first card. You can play it together with Frostbolt, but the thing
Yeah,
is,
that's
if
true.
you have the space.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna have a very specific purpose, and you have to build a deck that wants to like kind of have this early
Aggression,
aggro, something.
Yeah, true.
Or if you're in a tournament and all of your decks just straight up loses to
Miracle.
Miracle, you might play this.
Yeah.
But that I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts on Flame Cannon?
No.
That's a lot of fire.
Yeah. So the last card for this session. I hope it's the last card. Yeah, it is the last card. So it is Unstable Portal.
Yeah.
A 2-drop, add a random minion to your hand. It costs 3 less, and it's worth noting that this is not a random minion from your deck, but a random minion from everywhere.
Yeah.
Craftable.
Can even be class cards. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
class
can?
cards from other classes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
So that might make it a little better because you can get some of the strength from other
Generally,
classes.
class cards are better than
Yeah.
neutral.
Yeah.
So
Apart from Druid, maybe.
yeah.
But
Yes. Oh well, no.
Oh
No,
well,
you
well,
get
no,
it to
no,
your
no.
hand.
Oh, you get it to your
Get it
hand,
to
of
your
course.
Yeah.
Never mind then. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind an Ancient of Lore.
Oh God, no.
Plus 4.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
4-man Ancient of Lore. I'd say I'd take that.
So I think this card sucks major balls because
Disagree?
it has kind of the same problem that Farsight has, but it's even more uncontrollable than Farsight. It has, of course, the added benefits of upscaling mana. So it's like it ramps. It's like a coin
Yeah.
that replaces itself, but you have no control. And also you can fail, like if you use this and you get Lebanon, you don't coin, you minus coin.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you like generally like just fast, if you look at like the amount of cards that are below 2 or below 3 mana, like 2 or less, it's like 1/3.
yeah.
So you have 1/3 chance of getting something that's like worse. But I wouldn't even consider 2 to be worse. Like 2 is okay. Like 2 mana 2.
Yeah, but that's
But that's uncontrollable.
yeah, and that's
of
only
course,
the
of
2 drops. You're gonna have like 30% as well of the game that has a horrible 3 drops and above.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
like-
of course, but like that's 30%, and then like above those 30%, there's like only cards where you actually gain tempo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, one question. Could you imagine you wouldn't play this in Frost Freeze Mage, right?
No.
You would never play it. Would you? And you wouldn't play it in Aggro Mage either.
No.
I can't imagine
Oh,
it.
maybe yeah.
Would you?
The thing is, there's just
You need those 2 mana placed on the board. You don't need it to
there's
change something.
No, but
such a high chance that you get something that doesn't help you at all. I don't know if you saw the one video where they played. They had a media
Oh yeah.
something where he played this card. He got a what was it?
Doomsayer?
A Doomsayer, and he didn't use it the entire game. He won from all of his other cards because Doomsayer had no purpose.
Yeah.
And I think you just play this and you get like a war golem, and you're like, what? Shit, man.
I think it's a I don't think it will be played competitively, but I think it's a really fun card,
Yeah,
casual,
Yeah.
because sometimes you will just get the random Visera and play it on turn 6.
Yeah,
And
true.
if you're up against like Druid, they just don't have an answer, and you just have
It's a
Visera.
6-year Sarah. That's actually
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
funny to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those where like the random Rin deck where you can expand that to other decks, and like you can just have a ton of fun getting some ridiculous shit.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
Mind Game is so unreliable, but you can sometimes just get some crazy
Yeah, sometimes
stuff.
you just win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, imagine the following scenario: you're playing a late game mage deck in like the style of ramped druid.
Yeah, so like a curve.
You don't really have any 2 drops that you actually want to play in that deck. Like you usually just ping on 2. Then you can play this card, and then potentially like get some good ramp out of it. Like, in worst case, you can get a minion to play right when you play the
Yeah,
card.
the thing is just like you can build a deck and then you can get like a Crocolisk, and it's not gonna help you whatsoever.
No, but like then you play the fucking Crocolisk gun too. Like it's not. it's gonna do something. Like it's
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, that's true.
It's just so unreliable. Like the good draw mechanic they have now, mages, is the arcane intellect.
Yeah.
Because you draw into the cards you really want.
And
to
this
have, you place in the deck.
It's not really like arcane.
No, it's not like that. But like this is just.
Like the way I think about this card is more like an innervate.
Yeah, I agree. It's you ramp forward. And also, you can even it can in some situations be better than innovate if you think about the turn 6 Ysera, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that with innovate. But I just think that it's a card that doesn't necessarily give you momentum, but it lets you ramp, unreliably. I don't think you're gonna play this card, but it's not like it's. I think it's bad. I'm not gonna play it. If someone makes some crazy shit and just works every time, I might be wrong.
Yeah, but that's definitely not gonna happen.
Mark my words. I will make a deck with this
Dora will make it crazy.
I can see a point, Dora. I definitely can. We just don't see that deck at the moment. The curving mage deck.
Yeah, but of course. But that's like
But yeah, I can see your thought about it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I don't like it either. But maybe we'll see. Prove me wrong.
I guess I'm just thinking about it in the context of some other cards that have been revealed for Mage, like the 5 mana guy. Like many of the Mage cards revealed are some kind of like good removal. And if you have good removal like later and early, then you can actually afford to build like some kind of late game strategy out of it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess. Because remember, this guy does not fetch stuff from a deck, so it doesn't matter.
It's like Thought Steal, right?
Yeah, but Thought Steal will steal something that people want to play.
You know what your enemy is playing in like constructed. You know, like okay, this guy played that card, so we know he has what he has in the rest of the deck, like for the main 90% of the time.
I would argue that if this card had the Thought Steal kind of effect, like you grab a minion from your opponent's deck and make it cost 3 less and add it to your hand, it would be way better.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many cards that are not played because they suck. Like Magma Rager, you play Unstable Portal, you get Magma Rager, and like, hey, I ramp 1 mana, but it's still really bad.
You're just gonna Magma Rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we get Harvest Golem on turn 2.
Then, yeah, exactly.
Well,
some dream scenarios is gonna be really good.
Well, it's not even
Then it's really good. It's not insanely powerful, but then it's good, and that's it. Like 1 out of 200 situations.
No. Good. Yeah.
There are many.
Magma Rager, which is like the worst case.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Then you have to consider like good cases where you can get Shade, you can get the Harvest Golem, like any like Dark Cultist, like fucking Dark Cultist in Mage on turn 2.
Yeah.
Like what are they gonna do?
It's true, but like this scenario where you get like a 4-drop, and then the next turn you're gonna have 3 mana.
Then
I guess
you drop another Unstable Portal and a 4-drop.
I guess.
So like it's, I don't know. I think it's like, it's a ramp mechanic that it has. Of course, it has the potential to be bad, but it's also like, I'd say average. Like the average case is good. Like I think the average case is better. Because it's like you get 1 mana discount. So the average case where you get something average is better than, like the average case is better than average.
Yeah, true. I can understand your viewpoint. It's just really hard to play, like on Curve, for example, try to play around it. But I guess like I can see where you're coming from, and I'm gonna bow down before you when you make some crazy shit with this. So, I guess that's it for this podcast, episode 9. We went a little above the predicted time that we wanted to. I think we'll make an episode in like a 3 days time or something, and we're gonna cover the next part out of 3. So the second part out of 3 of all the cards revealed so far, and with no great introduction of Andreas this time, so that's gonna be it for this episode of HearthBreakers, and we'll see you guys on the other side. See you later.